Hello, welcome back, and as it says at the top there, we are looking at the OutRun series of games for the Spectrum. Just the Spectrum, no other versions. We don't do other versions. So that is OutRun, Turbo OutRun, and of course there is OutRun Europa as well, which I don't have, but I'm going to cover it anyway. All games released by US Gold, OutRun 1987, Turbo OutRun 1989, and OutRun Europa was 1991. I believe the first and third games were created by Probe Software and Turbo OutRun by ICE Software, I think. Okay. All games, of course, based on Sega's classic arcade game, OutRun. The amount of 10p's and 20p's are wasted in that bloody thing back in the mid to late 80s. Probably remembered just as much for its soundtrack as it was for the actual gameplay itself. Now, I haven't done one of these to camera videos for a long time. I think the Airwolf videos was the last one. The reason for that being A, I'm an ugly bastard, and B, I just enjoyed the newer way of doing things. But I'm going to do it again in this video because there's a couple of things I want to show you. Okay, so we'll start with OutRun. Now, I remember this game, the Spectral version didn't seem to review all that well in the magazines. I think there was always a little bit of criticism about it, but I always quite enjoyed it. I thought it was a cracking game. These aren't pickups, these are actually the actual tapes that I bought myself back in the day. So we have the cassettes in the box. Yay, he's got a cassette box with cassettes in it. Ooh. And what else have we got? What are they? There's some other gumph in here. We have the instruction leaflet, etc. with the sort of like game art, etc. I've got the window open over there because it's quite warm in here, so you might occasionally hear buses and ice cream vans go past. If you want a cornetto, just give me a shout. Or a 99. So yeah, there's that. And also, it's a really strange habit I had. I used to keep the receipts for all the games that I bought, and lately, as I've been going sort of through some cases, etc., it's made some quite interesting reading. There's a receipt for OutRun. Yeah, let's see if I can get that in there. Now that shows that I bought it from the Jones Brothers store in the Holloway Road in North London, just around the corner from where the Emirates is now, up the Arsenal, which was a kind of big, massive store that I used to go to get all my games. It was a beautiful old building as well, but it was part of the John Lewis chain, but now it's like a Waitrose or something like that, as all happens to all these things. Now, I always found these interesting. I don't know why, I just did. Whenever you got competitions and special offers on the inlays and stuff. Now, I don't know anyone that ever sort of wrote off and applied for any of these things. Is that going to focus? Focus. You see there's an offer for a t-shirt, etc. there. And what's that? You can join the club, the US Gold Club. I think I've missed the boat on that one now. But yeah, if any of you ever sent off for any of these things, let us know. Perhaps if you've still got them knocking about, you could perhaps cobble up a quick video, etc., or just post some photos on Facebook in any of the groups at Spectrum Forever, CoinOps, Consoles and Computer Games, etc. Now, Turbo OutRun, I'm not too fond of this game, but it's not a bad game by any stretch of the imagination. It's obviously the sequel. I don't know if this is based on an arcade game. It may be. I'm not too sure. It's kind of got like a Cannonball Run sort of type cover on the start there. At least the car's in motion. You know, there it's just at the start line. Oh, yeah, there we go. Right, so what do we have in this box? Oh, he's going to show us the inside of the box. We've seen that loads of times. Right, okay. So we get the cassette. We get the... come on. You get the Turbo OutRun poster. Oh, that way. With a sort of map of America in the bottom corner there. And the instructions, the plain instructions over leaf. also we get a little booklet. Oh, a little booklet of US gold releases that you can pique your interest with and perhaps go and spend some money on back in the day. So like mini catalogue for them. Strider, Moonwalker, Ghouls and Ghosts, the 2 indie games. I never played any of the Indiana Jones games. I had the arcade game on the Master System, but I never played any of them on the Spectrum. You get an Ickle badge. Turbo OutRun badge. That's not going to focus either, is it? Ah, that's better. That's better. And another receipt showing that I bought this from Boots the Chemist in Folkestone on the 27th of December 1989. So obviously I'd got some money for Christmas or something and decided to go and waste it all on silly computer games, as my parents used to say. So, going to have a look at the OutRun series of games. Not review them, just have a look. They're just gameplay videos. You all know by now that I can't play games to save my life, so there's no point me trying to review anything. I can never get far enough into anything. But hey ho, that's what I'm doing today. I hope you enjoy it. If you do, please remember to like it. Thanks ever so much. So, we start at the start with OutRun, the 1987 release from Sega, programmed by Probe Software. Really nice loading screen, as you can see there. Now, like I said on the introduction video there, I really enjoyed this game. I know it came in for some criticism, but I really enjoyed it. I think the criticism focused mainly on the speed. It doesn't, even when the car's going full speed, go at a massive rate of knots. Certainly not sort of Chase HQ levels of speed, etc. But all the same, I really enjoy this game. It's graphically, it's a very good rendition of the OutRun style from the arcade game, and as you can hear, it's got a brilliant 128K soundtrack rendition of some of the arcade music. Now, one of the touches I really like about this game, and I've only just noticed it when I was playing this on emulation, making the video, is that if you look at the little unicorn, the little Ferrari badge on the back of the car there, whenever you turn left or right, that turns left or right as well. I think that's a really neat touch. What is there to say about OutRun, really? It's a world famous game, one of the most famous arcade games going, and rightly so. Now, I played it an awful lot in the arcade. The last time I played an OutRun game, I'm pretty sure it was on Shenmue on the Dreamcast. I know that you could play Hang On, and I think part of me seems to remember you could play OutRun in it too. Someone is bound to correct me and say no, that's not the case, in which case I've clearly imagined it. But I really enjoyed this game. Great music. Apparently if you up the emulation speed on an emulator, you can get it to run really nicely, but I'm just going to play it the way I remember it at the sort of normal speed. Now, it's well animated. It doesn't go as quickly as some of the other racing games, etc., as I've already stated, but you know, I can live with that. It's not a bad effort at all. So I'm just going to end this little segment of commentary and let the video play out, and you can listen to the music a bit. Turbo OutRun followed OutRun in 1989 and includes the use of a turbo facility, which you'll see in the gameplay segment as we go into it. I'm not a huge fan of this game, and I'll go over why. Graphically, you know, it's quite nice, quite well animated, etc. But just look at the size of that sprite. Although it's a nice graphic, it tends to kind of block everything and make it difficult to see what's going on ahead and in front of you, etc. And it's, you know, it makes for a tricky game. Now, the differences between this and the first OutRun, other than graphically, if you look on the screen there, you can see the turbo is available, which is where the turbo OutRun comes from. That's kind of like a speed boost, a mechanic we'd seen in Chase HQ, which, to be honest, you know, did it an awful lot better than turbo OutRun does. You have to avoid overheating. As you can see in the top right there, you've got an overheat facility, etc. It's a well put together game, I can't sort of deny that, but it's not that much fun to play. It's tricky to see what's going on. So that's a quick gameplay segment of Turbo OutRun. Hope you enjoyed that, and we're going to move on once this is played out. Good music, by the way, to OutRun Europa. Okay, OutRun Europa, the third of the games. I've had to play this in 48k mode. I couldn't get the 128k to work, so I can't tell you if the music is any good on it. This was 1991, and this is the first time I've ever played it, so it's not going to show you an awful lot of the game. Now, graphically, it's, I mean, you know, the initial difference is that you play as a motorbike at the start. I think you play as a car later on. I'm not too sure. But there's, yeah, I know the Spectrum isn't known for colour, but this is kind of like playing an X-ray version of the game, or a black and white negative version. It's quite hard to see what's going on. The controls are very fiddly, and I believe somewhere in this game exists an actual full colour version. And I don't know how to access that, but if it's in there, I don't know why they didn't just release it as the game itself, because it would have been easier to see what was going on. You know, it's just really tricky to control, difficult to handle. Now, I don't know how well this game reviewed, etc., whether it was a success or not, but from this play of it, I haven't found it, you know, massively inspiring. But then again, this is only a kind of first play, so who's to say that if I didn't give it a few hours that I wouldn't actually quite enjoy it. Now, you start off obviously on the motorbike, kind of sort of like a road racing motorcycle game. You know, it's an indestructible motorbike by the look of things, and it's quite well animated. Everything's moving quickly enough, but I just didn't, when I was playing it, get an awful lot of a sense of fun from it. Is it a cash-in on the OutRun name? Probably. It's better than anything I could program, certainly. Which is, you know, anything's better than anything I can program. I can't program anything, so, you know, I don't usually like to be massively critical of things, because I know that people's programming skills exceed mine. However, I thought it would be nice to just put the three OutRun games together and just quick gameplay videos as opposed to reviews, so you could see the differences yourselves and see whether or not you wanted to check them out. Thanks ever so much for watching the video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope your bank holiday weekend goes swimmingly and you have a nice time and the weather stays good and you can have a barbecue or something. Up until the next video, take care of yourselves and goodbye.